My name is Michael Leizerman. I'm a partner at the law firm for truck safety. I'm licensed to practice in Ohio, Michigan, New York, Illinois. I practice all around the country. I've been practicing almost 30 years, since 1994. I always knew I wanted to be a lawyer since I was 8 years old. I wonder if it was my grandfather whispering to me in the crib, you will be a lawyer. But ever since I was a little boy, even in middle school, I was acting as people's lawyers, demanding due process of the the teachers. It's just something in me. I always knew I was going to be a lawyer. And then my journey to being a truck lawyer is one where I started in my family's firm, handling personal injury cases, every type of personal injury case, and then realizing I need to have a niche. I want to do what I do well, and it's almost impossible. It is impossible to understand all the medicine to be a medical malpractice lawyer, to understand all the railroading terms to be a railroad lawyer, which is largely what I used to do in the 90s before becoming a trucking lawyer, to understand everything that's involved in all the different areas of law. Means you're, the jack of all trades, right? Master of none. And I want to do something that I could, if not master, get as close to mastering as possible. I had a couple truck cases where I noticed trucks didn't have their lights working, trucks didn't have their brakes working, and I thought, this is just not right. That here's an area of law where I can help people and make a difference in the world. I intentionally looked around, what should my niche be? I thought, trucking law. This makes a lot of sense. And from there, I started trying to become the best truck lawyer I could. I started writing a book because I wanted to fully understand all the law that was out there. I became the first chair of what was at the time ATAA, and now the AAJ, used to be the American Trial Lawyers Association, now the American Association for Justice. I was the first chair of a group that met regularly there. And then as I started writing my book, I received a call from West Publishing one day, because I was the chair of that group, saying, hey, we see you're involved with this group. Do you know anyone that could write a trucking litigation treatise? We think, though, it's really time for that. And I thought, yeah, I do. I'm in the middle of writing something like that if you'd like to see it. And so I ended up under contract with them and spent several years writing that book, and then update that book every year. And now my wife, who's also my law partner, largely handles that. So both our names are on it. We've both put lots of time and energy and passion into litigating truck accident cases as our legal treatise. I love the question of what is the specialty within truck accident law that I handle, because when I started doing this 20 years ago, just the idea of having a board certification in truck accident law was almost beyond comprehension. So now to think of specialties within that is just a question that tickles my heart. And to directly answer the question, there are some things that, just because of the cases that I've handled, I've gotten to know more and more about. So when it comes to the case that I see more than any, which is somebody killed or catastrophically injured, the motor carrier should have never been on the road, has $1 million minimum insurance, which is not enough to compensate the family, the spouse, the kids who are relying on an income, is not enough to take care of a quadriplegic's medical care in the future. And then I look for, was there broker negligence? Who made the money from this? Who put this trucking company on the road? And because of several cases that we've handled that involve brokers, and one of them in particular that ended up being appealed up to the U.S. Supreme Court, and then we took a lot of energies. My wife Rena, along with public citizens, ended up arguing to the Solicitor General, asking them to write a brief to convince the U.S. Supreme Court not to take that case, and we were successful in that endeavor. And then have had several other cases involving brokers. So we would look at these cases, who actually is in control or who has the right to control, and how do we hold them accountable in a court of law.